Yo, shalom, YouTube. This is Yeshua Judah. This is the Truth Be Told Flex Podcast Extra. Venezuelan gang activity confirmed by Aurora officials after release of a Colorado's woman surveillance video. It says that officials in Aurora have begun to acknowledge the presence of Venezuelan gang activity in their Colorado City after the release of a horrifying surveillance video. For Cindy Romero, living at 12th Avenue and Dallas Street has become a daily struggle against escalating violence and neglect. Life deteriorated into the nightmarish ordeal marked by frequent encounters with crime and what she calls a lack of support from the city and police. She first noticed a gradual increase in crime in her part of Denver's metro area about a year and a half ago. It got worse over the last 3 months. We were consistently forced to make measures to protect ourselves, Romero said. I installed more locks, bought additional cameras, and parked farther away from the building. Despite all these efforts, the situation kept escalating. We felt like we were being tortured. She reported seeing people moving automatic weapons and engage in shootouts. I've seen handguns, rifles with scopes, other firearms. It got so bad that bullets even went through my friend's apartment and hit my car, Romero said. Despite frequent calls to 911, the police response was nearly non-existent. The police would call me and say they were coming unless I was a severe crime, they weren't coming, unless it was a severe crime, Romero said. When I called the police to report a shooting, the one officer asked if I had considered moving. If I could have afforded to leave, I would have. Romero installed multiple cameras that captured violent activities over the weeks. Doorbell video shows a group of armed men forcing their way into the neighbor's home. Another night, her camera outside captured 2 men approaching a vehicle with guns drawn. What is happening in Aurora, Colorado? Is that the story here? Is the question. It's one of the questions that I have. And they're saying that it is Venezuelan gang members that is causing the problem here in Aurora, Colorado. Another question I have is, why is this not being talked about on main media? Not hearing about it. Now, there are a ton of articles about it. If you just so happen to come across one of them, or you know someone who is talking about it, it's not like it cannot be found. But as far as the major news stations, I haven't heard any of them mention it. Could that be because we are in an election year right now? And we know that we have open borders, and that is a hot topic. But the thing is that we have to ask ourselves that if this is true, if what is being reported out of Aurora, Colorado, if it is true, do we think that this is going to be an isolated incident? Is this something that could occur in your neighborhood? Is this something that could occur in your backyard? How far removed are we to where we're going to start seeing migrants, as they call them, in our cities, taking over our cities? After all, the borders are wide open. Whose responsibility was it to protect the borders during the last 4 years? The one that is heading the Democratic Party at this particular time. I don't know too many places where an individual can go whose resume is not adding up to the job in which they are applying for and still yet get the job. But that looked like that might be the direction and where we're heading right now. you've got to realize that this is a problem. The state of Texas has bused thousands and thousands and thousands of migrants to what they call sanctuary states. And all of these particular states, they call themselves sanctuary states, are having problems with the individuals that was bust out of Texas. It's going to come to a point where they're going to start bleeding out of the borders of those sanctuary states back into the states that do not consider themselves sanctuary states. And if you think that all of those migrants that's coming across the borders are Mexicans, shame on you. They're not all Mexicans. You have to realize, too, that the majority of the world do not like Americans, which mean that those who are coming over here into our lands, into our backyards, that are blending themselves amongst the general population, there are people who don't like us as a whole because we are considered Americans. I'm not a voter. I'm not left. I'm not right. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm not conservative. I'm not liberal, but I'm a realist. But if you happen to be one of the two, do your homework. Don't vote off of emotions. Don't vote because the media is telling you to. Don't vote because your favorite entertainer is on board with one political party or the other. These are real life issues. And at some point, you're going to wake up in your neighborhood and you're not going to recognize it. Because if what is happening in Colorado is true, it's not going to be long before it's happening to you. There have been reports that Hell's Angels is on their way to deal with the Venezuelan gang. They're in Aurora, Colorado. I think that it's madness that you're going to have a nationally known illegal gang to go take care of something that state officials or federal officials or city officials should be able to take care of. But this is what you get when you open up the borders and say that, everybody and anybody can come over here, because building a wall is racist and we cannot be racist. So our hearts are going out to the people that are in Aurora, Colorado, if these reports are true. And you have to be vigilant. And again, if you are one that vote, like I say, do your homework and don't vote off emotions. Vote to what really makes sense for you and yours. This is Shia Yeshub Judah. We will be talking about this here as well. Am I correct? On the show this Wednesday, what's happening in Aurora, Colorado, and why it is not being discussed in the main media. Y'all have a blessed day. Barakatah.